I can't even read it. So San Diego, Buckeye, I think it said that. I can't read it. Who knows what it actually said. Colby, Michigan, Toronto, Covington Township, New Jersey, South Dakota, Virginia, Tycoon. I think it said Tycoon. Might not have. I'm going to have to slow this down. I have to pause it. There we go. West Kentucky, Utah, South Carolina, Torrington, Connecticut, Clearwater, Florida, New England, that's kind of broad, Pennsylvania, Old Forge, baby. Yeah. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Long Point, Ontario. Cool, we got Canada in the house tonight. Illinois, I get it. Illinois, yeah, cool. Where else? New Mexico, Alabama. Alaska. Wow, what time is it? Oh, it's probably earlier, right? Yeah. Clearwater, Florida, Torrington, Connecticut. Let's go over to Rumble, see where some folks are from. London, England. Wow, I got a national audience over here. London, UK again. Lebanon Valley, Pennsylvania. Henderson, Nevada. I got a home there. Beautiful area. Memphis, Tennessee. Waseca, Minnesota. Wapton, North Dakota. Holland, Massachusetts. Jim Thorpe, PA. Beautiful in Jim Thorpe. I like it there. Beautiful train there. Indianapolis, Indiana. Gillette, Wyoming. Fern Creek, Kentucky. New Orleans, Louisiana. Dallas. Brookings, Oregon. Newton, Kansas. Boise, Idaho. Fort Mill, South Carolina. Bahamas. New Zealand. They said it 4 times. Mons, Louisiana. Crom, Michigan. Canyon Lake, Texas. Queensland, Australia. Global. We are global, ladies and gentlemen. Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Saltville, Virginia. The big ATO. Boston, baby. I almost moved there. Y'all know that story. Lincoln, Nebraska. Klein, Texas. Estero, Florida. Crazyfornia. Connecticut. Canyon Lake, Texas. Rhode Island. Another Bahamas guy. Mesa, Arizona. Utah. Belleville, Ontario. New Jersey. New York. Lake Charles. Lake Havasu. Got a home there. Maui. Got a home there too. You guys are hitting all my hometowns. Nobody from Taylor, PA though, huh? My original hometown? Pella, Iowa. Erie. Cool. All right, enough of that. I don't want to waste too much time on the stuff that we're not here for tonight. So just so you guys know, tonight's going to be a Q&A, standard format Q&A. I'm not going to limit the extent of the Q&A like I was originally going to do. Originally, I was going to give you a particular topic and you were going to ask me a question on that topic. I'm not going to do that. You could ask me anything tonight. It's more of an AMA than a Q&A. AMA is Ask Me Anything. It's going to kind of be like that. Before we get into that, I do have a couple important things that I really, really want to talk about that affect literally all of us. First and foremost, I put a video up on Telegram earlier today. If you are not on my Telegram channel, you 100% need to be on my Telegram channel. Let me see if I could. That's not it. Oh, there's Matt Ferris's link, by the way. I'll leave that there for a minute or two. In my announcements channel, I don't even know what the link to that is. There it is. Hand me down, rain. Let me just get the Telegram link up here real quick. If I could stop clicking the wrong thing, that'd be great. Here we go. Blue eye. All right. There is the Telegram link. You could treat the t.me just like www, so you don't have to do anything special with that. That is a web address. You're going to put that in your browser, just like you put google.com, for those of you that are unfamiliar with how internet works. t.me/Phil_Godlewski with 2 I's. There are 2 I's right there. Somebody very politely put the hyperlink in the Rumble chat over there. I'm sure you guys on Locals already have it. Wow, Locals membership went way up. Some of you guys must have taken advantage of that $120 special. Got a lot of people over there right now. Cool. Somebody just mentioned on Locals, just as I look down at marching orders, you are going to have marching orders tonight, so sit still. I didn't forget about them last live, but I guess I forgot about them. So there's that. But yeah, so there's my links to Telegram. I know you can't see those on Locals right now because the share screen capability on Locals doesn't necessarily work. But right now on the top of the screen, we have the link tree to Matt Ferris. That is in the description below, whether you're on Rumble or Locals. You'll see that in the description. The Telegram link is where you want to be because of what I'm about to talk about right now. I put in Telegram earlier tonight a link to a Robert Kiyosaki interview. And for those of you that don't know Robert Kiyosaki, he is first of all, he's an incredibly smart man. We'll put that there. Second of all, he knows a lot about the environment, the economical environment, not only in the United States, but worldwide. So when this guy speaks about something that has to do with the financial sector or something along those lines, you should listen. And most people should. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an expert in any of these little areas. However, Robert Kiyosaki is the closest thing, if not even more so, than an expert on a lot of what he talks about. So it's a 46-minute video. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I did highlight on Telegram. I believe it starts at the 2-minute and 10-second mark. The gentleman that Robert Kiyosaki is interviewing talks about the BRICS system. The BRICS system is a new currency that is currently taking the world by storm. The United States, of course, we still have the Federal Reserve and the US dollar, right? The rest of the world is getting away from that. They're getting into BRICS. Russia talked about it. China talked about it. Other areas of the world are opting into it. Now, this is the first time I have seen any expert in the financial sector, in the financial world, any sort of financial advisor, any sort of financial guru. This is the very first time I have ever seen an expert put a date on an announcement of something in regards to BRICS. And more specifically, this is the first time I've ever seen an expert say that BRICS is going to be a gold and silver backed security. I have not heard that from an expert. Now, I've known that for a while. That's something that we've talked about on my show dozens, if not hundreds of times, right? But I'm me. I'm a podcaster. Doesn't matter if I have millions watching me and Kiyosaki has the same, more or far less. Makes no difference. What matters is these guys are experts, and they said on August 22nd, BRICS is going to announce that their currency is actually going to be backed by gold and silver. What does that mean for us? Well, if you own gold or silver, that is an incredible, just making sure my audio is good over here. That is an incredible piece of information, because when a security gets backed by a precious metal, the value of that precious metal is going to go up. And I would venture a guess that the value of that precious metal would go up substantially. Now, do I know that for a fact? Absolutely not. But if you look at logic, if you look at common sense, and then after you look at those two very important things, you then turn and look at what the experts are saying, it's a perfect storm for exactly what we thought was going to happen. I have news for you. If on August 22nd of this year, which is less than a month away, 3 weeks away, if that is true, and BRICS is backed by gold and silver, or gold or silver, or any combination of each, makes no difference. If that's true, and that announcement does get made on that date, or at any time in the future, I think you are looking at Nasera. I think you are 100% looking at the currency that is going to be used by the world. I think that Trump and the White Hats are most likely behind BRICS, and it's being called BRICS, and it's being evasively released throughout the world, and the United States kind of like, BRICS, huh? What's that? Isn't that a piece of rock? No, it's a system, and it's most likely Nicera. It's most likely our new currency, our new rainbow currency that I and others have been talking about for a very long time. Bix Ware is another big proponent of a new financial currency coming in. I think BRICS is Nicera. If it is going to be backed by gold and silver, it makes all the sense in the world. We got one Yahoo over here, Reven LB. Silver is worthless. Oh, you know, it's so easy to write 3 words in a chat without putting any sort of, reasoning or logic behind it. Why don't you get a show, Raven LB, and tell us why silver is worthless? In fact, I'll invite you on my show after you get a show, and you can tell me why silver is worthless, and I will annihilate you in a debate over that. However, I think BRICS is closely tied to Nicera if it is not Nicera itself. And I think that it's been rolled out in a particular fashion throughout the world before it gets to the United States. What does that mean for us? Well, again, as I said earlier, if you already had gold and silver stockpiled, if you've been buying regularly from your local gold and silver, let me get these links off the screen because now they're starting to distract me. Well, that did nothing at all. So, oh, there we go. Okay. Then you're in good shape. You got your ducks in a row. Good for you. If you haven't yet done that, I could direct you to goldquiz.com to, if you have an IRA and or a 401k. I think having your IRA or a 401k in precious metals is an amazing idea. And I have the best company in the world that does exactly that. A quick phone call, tell them what you have. They're going to ask you certain questions. Roll that over into precious metals. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, and it's not going to happen again. It will not happen again. Once you miss this, you missed it. There's nothing else you can do. This happened, I said this the other day on Telegram. This happened with Microsoft. A lot of people missed the boat on Microsoft. This happened with Apple. This happened with Yahoo. This happened with Google. You never even knew those names until you knew those names. But by the time you knew those names, you couldn't get in. You couldn't invest. You couldn't buy any of that stock and intend to make any sort of money on that stock. It was too late. But here you are with an opportunity in front of you to do something that most people don't know about. Go to goldquiz.com. You have a 401k or an IRA, go there, let them talk to you. Prepare yourself for the best. And also, by the way, go to my Telegram channel and watch that video, the full 46 minutes when you have time, about, with Robert Kiyosaki about BRICS. It is enlightening, and you will not regret it. Okay? Let's talk about the Trump rally real quick before we get into Q&A. So earlier tonight on Telegram, I posted some links to the Trump rally, and I gave my opinion on some of the links. And the links were basically Trump talking about how they cheated in 2020. We knew that, right? We knew they cheated. Is anyone that lives under a rock doesn't know that they cheated? We know that, right? So they cheated in 2020, and what Trump said was, well, we're not going to let him cheat in 2024. Oh, really? Great, good news. First of all, yeah, we know about 2020. We were there. We've lived through it now for 2.5 years, and it's been brutal for most people. Tell us, though, how 2024 is not going to be rigged. What have we done? Now, please, guys, humor me. Don't listen to the first part of what I say and miss the second part of what I say. All right? This is a whole long strand of thought process on my behalf, and I want to enlighten you into it. So don't just listen to 1 or 2 sentences and be like, I knew it. Just give me an opportunity to say everything. All right? And then tie in the second part or the third part of what I'm saying to the first part, and it'll make sense to you. Please. Now, Trump has been famous for saying 2020 was rigged. We can't let them take an election from us. We can't live another, 3.5 years. He said this in the first 6 months of the election fraud of Biden's fake inauguration. He would tell us all about the fraud, where it took place, how it took place. He promoted 2,000 Mules when it came out. He shares things, retruths things on Truth Social about the election fraud. Talks about it all the time. Talked about it tonight in Erie when he was on the stage. So he has drummed us up. He has elevated our awareness to the fact that there not only was election fraud, but they stole the election from him in 2020. Okay. But then he goes on to say, we're not going to let them do it in 24. So does that mean you did let them do it in 2020? Were we not aware that the fraud was going to happen in 2020? I don't think that's true, because in September of 2018, Trump signed Executive Order 13848, EO 13848, that specifically dealt with election fraud. And in addition to the executive order, and there were other executive orders that were similar, in addition to that executive order, Trump actually talked about election fraud leading up to the 2020 election. So by saying, oh, well, they stole one in 2020, but we're not going to let it happen in 2024, I would make the argument that you had more power to prevent it in 2020 and leading up to 2020 while you were in office. And you have less power now to do anything about it going into 2024. So tell me exactly how that narrative works. I've never heard out of Trump's mouth or anyone around Trump how they're going to stop it. Mail-in balloting, still happening. Electronic voting through Dominion, still happening. Except I would make an argument now that because we have the FBI weaponized, the DOJ weaponized, the CIA completely rogue, and the White House completely corrupt, that there's an even better chance that there will be election fraud in 2024. So what do we do? What do we do to stop it? Let me go on to another point that Trump, I have the videos here, I'm just keeping myself organized. Trump keeps talking about these polls. We're up 53 to 10 in that poll, 53% to 10%. We're up in that poll, we're up in that poll, we're up in that poll. Trump himself, according to experts and pollers, had anywhere from a 1% to a 20% chance of winning the election in 2016. Why do we look at polls? And then if you go ahead and you look at the algorithm that's used in those polls or the surveys, they're exactly the same as they were in 2016. They're exactly the same as they were in 2020. So what are we doing here? Why are we talking about polls? Why are we talking about 2024 as if it's a thing? I've never once, since 2020, have used a single sentence, a single JPEG, anything regarding 2024, unless I talked about it in the sense that I'm talking about it now. Excuse me. I refuse to believe that 2024 will have a presidential election. Refuse. But yet we have Donald Trump talking about running for president in 2024 as if that's the next big thing. I just want it to make sense. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense that he's talking about, now that I prefaced it the way that I did, does it make sense that he's talking about 2024 as if he's going to win? And not only that, but the election fraud is fixed. Why is he speaking of it that way? Let me tell you why. Because you are watching a movie. Trump knows that he cannot win an election anywhere in the United States. He knows that. You are watching the current sitting commander-in-chief of the United States and the United States military, by the way, that's what that means, on stage acting as if he's not the commander-in-chief. We have policies. We have procedures. We have flat-out laws and backups to make sure that our country's sovereignty does not get stolen by a foreign influence or a foreign government or a rogue, corrupt system. This guy that you are watching is president of the United States right now and has been since 2016 with no interruption of that. Just because you saw Joe Biden get inaugurated, just because you think Joe Biden is president because the mainstream media paints it that way, that does not mean he is. I know that's hard to fathom. But all of this stuff that Trump talks about makes no sense. So you have to believe that Trump is an absolute idiot, or you have to believe that he is purposely putting on a show. Now, what's the purpose of the show? Wake up, people. I don't know. I really don't care. All I know is we have continuity of government because our government was about to be stolen by a rogue entity, the cabal. This is a group of worldwide, power-hungry, ego-driven controllers that have ran our world for a while that just for the first time decided to destroy America and wipe America off the map so that their other countries and their other systems and their way of life becomes prominent. The stuff that Trump is speaking about on these rallies only does one thing for me. It confirms what I already thought and what I've been talking to you about for the last 3 years on these live streams. Don't fall for it. He knows that the election that he's so prominently pushing, and the polls that he's so aggressively highlighting are bullshit. He knows they both are. He's just educating you. There was a way that the continuity of government and the law of war manual all fit in to this time frame that we're currently in. Certain things had to have been done once a breach of our government, once a potential takeover of our government was instituted. Once the cabal went after our government and tried to seat a president through fraud, the continuity of government and the powers that President Trump had once that happened were enormous. Yes, you saw him publicly walk away from the White House. So did I. You saw a fake imposter who's not Joe Biden, by the way. I don't know who that guy is, but he's not Joe Biden. I mean, you really have to have something wrong with your mind and your eyes to think that that's Joe Biden, the Joe Biden that was vice president under Obama. Something's got to be wrong with your eyes. It's just not the same guy. So whoever this guy is, did we place him there? I don't know. That logically, yeah, that makes sense that the White Hats put him there. I don't know. But what I do know is it's not him. The second thing I know is the last 2.5 years that we've lived through of this Biden administration, right? Because it's neither of those things. But the last 2 years, there has been a massive covert operation going on behind the scenes that we only know about because of people like me. And it's not just me. There's others, of course. But don't tell me that what Trump says during a rally is how it actually is. I don't care if he's saying it or not. He's saying what he has to say. And truthfully, when I look at Trump's face during these rallies, and you guys are going to have to do a little bit of, your own due diligence on this, but when I look at Trump's face when he's saying these things, it's a dead giveaway that he doesn't even believe what he's saying. His body language, his facial expressions, the way he turns his body, his eyes, his position of his mouth. Go back and look to things that Trump was saying that you knew were honest, back during his administration. Compare those statements in those same mannerisms that I just mentioned. Compare that to the rally that you just saw tonight, when he talks about 24 and he talks about polls and he talks about all this other crap that we know is crap. Tell me you don't see a difference between the truth-telling Trump and the guy that you see at the rallies now, that Trump. Big difference. He is clearly, and I don't want to say he's lying, but he's clearly playing a role. It's a role. Listen, I've been trained like you would not believe in body language. You could come up to me, and if you have poor body language or if you just don't know, or if you just don't know what your body language does when you tell a lie that you're trying to convey to the person that you're speaking to, you cannot get that past me. You simply can't. There's no way. There's no way that I would ever fall for a lie if your body language is poor. You would have to specifically know to not do a certain thing with your facial expression or the way that you move your body or your eyes or your nose, by the way, it's a big one. Sometimes your ears or your mouth. Sometimes people that I met for the first time come up to me and try to strike a conversation and then they immediately lie. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's a Yahoo. So I'm not going to call them out. I'll give them, I'll give them the ability to skedaddle, get out of here. I'll be nice. I'll be politically correct. But Trump, in those videos that I saw just tonight from the Erie rally, it's just a game. It's just a show. It's just a narrative. What it almost seems like he's doing to me, and not just him, but the whole, anybody that's telling him to say these things, whoever it is, our military, the generals that are advising him in the military, it's almost like they're doing what the mainstream media does. Lie and push a narrative. Right? Isn't that what the mainstream media does? So now we're doing it back to them. Because the black hats know what's happening behind the scenes covertly in this operation that we're currently in. We're just doing it back to them. We're giving them a dose of their own medicine. And by the way, I want you guys to look at something else. Look at the timeline of the Trump indictment, the Hunter Biden saga, the call for impeachment to Joe Biden, the call for impeachment to Merrick Garland. Look at all these things. It's almost as if it's a tit for tat. We do this, so they do that. They do that, so we do this. And vice versa, back and forth for the last probably about a year now. You are literally seeing the chess moves on the board. You are seeing this play out right before your eyes. Every move is countered with a different move. But again, as we talked about on my last live, the game has an end. Just like chess, the game could still be going on, but a winner has already been determined. And we get to watch it. I know it sucks. I know it sucks. But guess what? There is going to be a reward for the suffrage that we went through. And I promise you all that when that reward comes, you will say that everything we lived through in the last 2.5 years was worth it. Every one of you. I had loss. I had loss in my life too. I lost my wife. I lost my children. I lost my grandmother. I lost my grandfather. I've lost friends that were my age or younger due to COVID, due to the vaccine, due to all of that stuff. So I have loss. But I'll tell you that what I know is coming those losses were for the betterment of the future. They were for the betterment of all humanity. And it's never okay to say, well, I lost a family member, so it's worth it. Not saying it in that avenue. What I am saying, though, is the jubilee, the future that we're in for. When you look back, you will see that everything we went through was worth it. Keep that in mind. All right. I promised a Q&A tonight. So a Q&A is what I will give. I will take the first 10 or so questions from locals, and then we'll shoot over to Rumble. Just give you guys a timeline. Here we go. Will mortgage companies crash too? It's always hard to predict who's going to crash and not crash. Let me give you some facts, though. You are living in a year, 2023, of the worst banking crisis to ever exist. It wasn't the 2008, 2009, financial collapse. It's now. You had 3 major banks fail earlier this year. You had another one fail today. That's number 4, and it only adds to the cluster, what. So mortgage companies that are heavily tied to certain banks like that, certain banks that have mortgage companies, they will suffer as well. It's another reason why to get the heck out of the bank right now, get whatever you have into, and by the way, if you have a 401k or an IRA, that's kind of in a bank, like somebody holds it somewhere, get into precious metals. Goldquiz.com is your best way to go. I have no faith whatsoever in the banking system based on what happened earlier this year and where BRICS is going that we talked about earlier tonight. I think that the new currency that's coming in with BRICS, backed by precious metals, everybody is going to rush into precious metals. And when that happens, and there's none left, the sky is the absolute limit. The Obama chef was, from what I hear, from the intel that I gather, not from my main source, but somebody just asked about the Obama chef. The Obama chef was murdered. And details of that will follow, and I don't want to be the first to report them for reasons that I have. But keep your eye on that situation. It is not an accident. And it's also not an accident where they found the body, obviously. Russell J. Gold, legit or lunatic? I wouldn't go as far to say as he's a lunatic. I think he actually, by definition, I think he actually believes the things that he says, but I have no belief whatsoever in anything that Russell J. Gold has said. None. And not because it's just my opinion. Nothing that he has said lines up with what's happening in front of our eyes or behind the scenes. They're both, his whole thing is just completely off. So no, I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's a lunatic. Maybe he is, but I know that he's not telling the truth. Are the vaults through 7K metals and Gold Coast safe from government takeover? Let me tell you about vaults. If you have a private vault, they are safe from government takeover. If your bank goes insolvent and you have something in their vault, they are not. That is not a private vault. The vaults at the companies that you mentioned and some other companies are considered private. That is something you should always ask your custodian if you are not keeping the metals in your person, in your own private safe in your house. Now, obviously a safe in your house is private, right? Of course it is. But if you have them somewhere else other than your own safe place, you have to ask if that's private or if it's non-private. If it's non-private, it is subject to government takeover. That is something you all should watch right now. Because if and when, more likely when, the currency of the United States is no more, and we're no longer using the dollar when we get onto this gold-backed security that I've been talking about, and Bixware and Robert Kiyosaki and everybody else for years. Once we get onto that, there may be takeovers. It's very possible. And just all you got to do is read your agreement with your bank or your custodian in this case, and it'll say it right in there that they are subject to seizure in the case of insolvency. So absolutely, great question. And yes, the 7K and Gold Co., they are private vaults, so you have nothing to worry about in terms of takeover there. Marching orders, great question. I almost forgot to bring it up again. I was going to do it right after my little Trump tirade there, but now's a good time too. Here's what I want you to do. And I'm speaking to each and every one of you. Looks like we have a little over 14 million on the overall counter tonight. That'll increase over the days. However, I want each of you to share this live stream to all of your social media accounts. There's a reason for this, which I'm not going to talk about tonight. Has nothing to do with me getting more followers. I'm sure that'll happen. Or maybe I'll get more haters too. Sure, that'll happen. But I want you to share this live stream on each of your social media accounts. If that's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Truth Social, wherever, I want you to share it. I want the post to be public so all of your fans see it. Not fans, but all of your followers and your friends see it. I want you to post it in groups that you belong to, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or otherwise. Put it in those groups. There's a reason I'm asking you to do this. And the reason will become clear as we proceed in the next short period of time. So please do that. Those are your marching orders. It's very easy to share a link. Don't share the locals one because the live on locals will be private. I would share the Rumble one. The Rumble one is the best link to share when you compare it to DLive anyway. And I'm running a little bit of an experiment with this sharing. And being that I have millions of people that are watching me, I assume that, I don't know, maybe 25% will listen to me and they will share. That's still millions of shares. We're doing something. I've been ordered to do this. Well, no one orders me to do anything, but I've been asked to do this. And there's a reason. So let's do that. Those are your marching orders. Let's head over to Rumble, take some questions from there now. This is from Eve 1991. Hi Phil, does an event need to occur for an EBS to be initiated? Or have they scheduled the EBS yet? And does Biden need to be removed? In parentheses, how will that happen? And Trump back before EBS happens. There does not need to be an event anymore. There did leading up to the attempt last week or a couple weeks ago. But anymore, there's no, it's literally whenever they want to flip the switch. I have everything in, they have put, the White Hats have everything in order for it to function properly. There's nothing that stands in the way for them to just say, let's do it, let's go. Now, I can't tell you what they're waiting for. I don't know what determines when they make the next move. As of today, anyway, I may find that out as we go forward. But as of today, I don't know what they're waiting for. Does Trump have to be back before the EBS? No. Does Biden have to be removed from office or otherwise no longer in office before the EBS? No. Neither of those things have to be realized. I did not slip. Watch it, you. All right. Next question. This is from Jimabapa. I don't know. You could say it probably 4 different ways. It's funny. Hi, Phil. I'm 70 years old and pray every day. I live long enough to see the end of this shit show and live in the future you described. Can you give any hint as to the final event still necessary? I wish I could, Jim. I really don't know the final event. I'm sure I'm going to be informed of it, like I just said in the last question, at some point in the near future, but right now I don't know. I don't know. Information is so need to know right now. If you guys need to know something, they'll tell me, and I'll relay that something to you in the manner in the brackets in which they give it to me, so I can relay it to you. But as of right now, I don't know what that event is. If you're healthy at 70, life is never promised. So I don't know how long you'll live, like you said, but I will hope and pray, and I'm sure others will here tonight, that there will be enough time left for you to witness everything that's going to happen next. This is from Lisa Fox, regular contributor and Rumble ranter. Hi Phil, double hi Phil, cool. The gold back currency video you told us to watch had a timestamp of 6:28, which mentioned Snowden, the clock is ticking. Yeah, I know. Lisa is, I've said this in previous shows, Lisa is turning into, if not already well past the turning into point, very clever and on. Her question here was actually, are we on a countdown to the EBS? I can tell you that we are certainly on a countdown to the EBS. That is 100% accurate, but I'm unaware of what the countdown is. I don't know how much time or minutes are in the countdowns, or seconds or days or whatever. I'm not sure. I know when the countdown started, and that was what I reported last live. Their final move was played, so now we're in this freely flowing zone that it could be whenever, and we just don't know. But are we on a countdown? Yes. What the countdown is, I don't know at this time. I hope I will soon. This is from 98C. Just to clarify, I've moved all of my 401k to silver and some gold. I have it stored in a facility in Dallas, and I have it in a segregated storage bin. What if the holding company goes bankrupt? Won't matter. As long as it's a private vault, as long as your custodian, segregated storage bin, as long as it's private, it needs to be private. The classification of that storage bin needs to be private, or whatever you're referencing. I don't know if it's an actual storage bin, but you need to get details on that facility in Dallas and make sure that in the case of insolvency, you are still entitled to your precious metals. They have to tell you that. They will tell you that. So just clarify that with them. If they go bankrupt, as long as it's private, you will be okay. This is also from 98C. Pfizer stock price, January 1st, 2024, over or under $5 because of crimes against humanity. I hate giving stock prices for a couple reasons. So I'm not going to do an over or under on your $5 estimate. But I can tell you this, that the Pfizer plant, I think it was in South Carolina or North Carolina, that was recently destroyed, should give you the answer to your question. I think it was destroyed by a hurricane or a tornado or something. Massive fire or something like that. That whole story is the answer to your over-under. This is from Wood and Buffalo. Who was the major suicide? Keep your eyes peeled on that one. And again, I said this when I announced that suicide live, that it's not going to present itself as a suicide. It'll just present itself as a death. By the way, I see the numbers have ticked up unbelievably. So what I think happened here is I have new viewers watching me now because of my request a few minutes ago to share the link to this. What you're watching right now is a political program, an entertainment program, which I take live questions from my audience. I have been watching what I believe is a fraudulent government for the last 3 years, along with most of my followers. I have an audience of, on any given night when I do go live, 15 to 20 million people that watch me. I was a private citizen when the election fraud happened. I had a little bit of a background before that. If you're here and you think something funny is happening in our government right now, and you think there's something funny happening with the whole Biden administration, and you think that Trump was robbed and or stolen from a rightfully earned election win in 2020, you're in the right place. I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button and start watching more of our videos. You will see some people in the chat that try to discourage you from doing that. They are called liberals and Democrats. I call them trolls. But if you're a Democrat and you're thinking something's wrong with your party, you're right. There is. You're in the right place. So the more you watch of me, and I have some older videos on Rumble dating back years now, you go back and you see a certain topic. If it interests you, go right ahead and watch it. I welcome new audience. I have links even earlier in this video. What you're watching right now, if you just tuned in, is a live video. This is actually me sitting here doing this video as we speak. It is on the East Coast, 9:12 p.m. On July 29th, Saturday, July 29th. So welcome to everybody. If you want to watch this video in its entirety, you could do that when the video is over. It will upload to my channel on Rumble. Just so you guys know, Rumble is kind of like YouTube, except it's not censored like YouTube is. Everything you watch on YouTube is censored. They will remove videos. They will censor videos. They will take certain parts out of videos. They will not allow you to do free speech on that platform. Rumble is the exact opposite of that. Rumble is a free speaking program, free speaking platform, I should say, that will allow you to speak freely and get the truth out there. Because right now, mainstream media is our enemy, and all they do is lie. And if you think you're watching mistruth on mainstream media and you're new to my channel, you are watching mistruth. This service is completely free. You could subscribe to my shows and my videos for absolutely nothing. You have the opportunity to give money at certain times, but we don't have to worry about that now. What I'm trying to do is educate as many people as I possibly can around the world. My audience, the millions of people that watch me, are global. I have people watching right now in Europe. I have people watching in New Zealand. I have people watching in Canada. Often we have people watching all the way over in Japan, all across the United States, Mexico, South America, everywhere. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to get back to the Q&A now. Wow, where do we start here? Let's see. Will the alien blue beam event occur? I've said this before. I don't believe in aliens, and I have reasons for that. I have reasons to think that if there are any kind of aliens, it's because it's something not from outer space, which is a much longer conversation. However, I don't think there's any sort of blue beam event that's going to occur with any sort of alien stuff. This is from Kim EA. Are you aware when the med beds will be available to the general public? Thank you for all you do. For those that are unaware of med beds or what a med bed is, it is technology that has been suppressed from the public for a very long time that has the ability to cure just about anything in the body. That's cancer, that's AIDS, that's diabetes, that's heart disease, that's lost limbs, brain disease, brain tumors, any sort of tumors throughout the body. All sorts of cancers, vision problems. That's what a med bed does. This is technology that the cabal, we refer to the cabal in the show as a global, our global controllers. They have risen over the last decades to the very top of government institutions, large corporations, pharmaceutical companies, and so forth. So the cabal has had technology that could keep us healthy, living longer lives for a very long time, and they have not told us about it. So what has been done now is the good guys, what we call the white hats, have taken over that technology. Now, the question that's in front of me now from Kim is, when will that be available? And I don't have an exact date on that. And I'm sorry, Kim. I wish I did. I could tell you, though, that it is imminent. We will have access to that technology, and we will cure almost every single disease that is out there, because most of them, if not all, are manufactured and have been since the very beginning. This is from Jim Babapa again. 3 soldiers found dead at a gas station are said to have been whistleblowers. Is that true? Yes, that is true. What they were going to alert the public about, not sure. I don't have that information, but I do know that it was a hit job by the cabal. We're going to head back to locals now, get some more questions from over there. This is from Stryker. Extraterrestrials, quote, equals extra terrain. Critters from the lands beyond the ice wall. There is nothing from outer space. Aliens, A-L-I-E, a lie. Anyone ever realize that the first 4 letters of alien are a lie? Yeah, because it's a lie. So aliens don't come from outer space. I've done many shows in the past that, and first of all, if you are new to the channel from this influx of what looks like 5 million so far have come in, if you're new to the channel, you have to go watch my flat earth theory stuff. Myself and Ewar put together a couple collabs on some stuff, and Ewar is another Anon, much like myself, that is 100% anti-cabal. So what Stryker is saying is these extraterrestrials, named appropriately not because they're terrestrials, but they're from an extra terrain. Our world being flat and circular has a ice wall around it, which we call Antarctica, or what we know of as Antarctica. And beyond that ice wall is where these extraterrestrials are coming from. The whole outer space thing is nothing but a made-up Hollywood bullshit, just like the MSM. So, thank you for bringing that out there, Stryker. Am I still planning on doing something like med beds myself? This is from Enoch. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't have any medical technology that I could roll out. I could tell you though on that topic. I spoke a little too soon there when I just said that. I do have a major medical health. I'm trying not to say too much. I do have something big coming real soon. It's not like med beds, but it's big. And each and every one of you are going to want to be involved with what I have to say. I need a couple more weeks to fine-tune some things, but you all are going to want to be on here, and you're going to want to be on locals because my locals audience will have first dibs. But again, not for another couple weeks. I'll make announcements of that as we go. What happened to Mitch? Mitch McConnell, freezing at this from Diane, 4420. Mitch McConnell is a lifelong politician. Let's preface this, okay? He's a lifelong politician that just realized that all of his life's work is about to be torn down, ripped to shreds, burned. He's going to be humiliated. His name, his family name, everything he's ever worked for is going up in smoke. And the better question that we should be asking is not what happened to Mitch, but what was he looking at when it happened? What did he see? Because if you notice, he didn't take his eyes off that one area, right? What was out there? Who did he see? What did he see? That's the question we should be asking about Mitch. Not so much, why did this happen to Mitch, but more of, why did he stare? Don't tell me it was a stroke. Come on. Don't tell me any of that stuff. That's what the mainstream media will say. In fact, that's their lie that they want you to think happened. They actually want you to think it was a stroke. And they're like, no, he's fine. I'm fine. Everything's good. First of all, not everything is good in Mitch's life. Okay, he was very good friends with Joe Biden when Joe Biden was in the Senate. Secondly, what freaked him? Let's look into that. Have I seen Sound of Freedom? This one is from Alice Trinity. Yes, I have seen Sound of Freedom, and leaving the movie, my first reaction was, I need to donate a lot of money to this cause. And I've actually been trying to get in touch with Tim Ballard for the last couple of weeks since I did see the movie, unsuccessfully. But I'm still trying, and there'll be an announcement if and when that donation does occur. Folks, I said this before, but if you have people around you that when you say, do you want to go see Sound of Freedom, and they say, oh no, I can't, my heart, I can't even imagine. No, you drag them to the movie. They have to see it. I don't care if it makes them cry. I don't care if it makes their hearts feel a certain way. These are real life events. It's not a fictional story. These are kids that are being raped, tortured, addicted to drugs, put into sex slavery all around the world. You take those people to see Sound of Freedom. And if you don't have the money for tickets to go see it, and that's what's holding you up, let me know. I'll buy your tickets. I'll buy them in bulk if I need to. You need to see the movie, and so does every single person around you. And I don't want to hear a single excuse or reason to not. It's that important. The man who calls himself, this is from Lola, 62. The man who calls himself King David and claims to be the civilian CIC, is he legit? No. It's just, no. He's not the commander-in-chief of anything. It's just, and anybody that calls themselves king, to me, is skeptical. There's only one king, and that's Jesus Christ. So I don't want to hear any of this crap about King David. Get lost. Wherever at Buckley, Space Force Base. Yes. I'm a retired educator. Will state retirement benefits continue to be funded? Yes and no, not in the way that you're used to them being funded, but they will be funded. You're gonna be okay with your retirement in that sense, but you just need to make sure that the account that you have them in, 401k or IRA, if you are heavily invested in the stock market with that account, that's something that you should consider moving to precious metals, in my opinion. Back to Rumble. Got that one. Lisa Fox again. Can we rely on your intel about the Skytel servers being seized in Germany and the SCOTUS overturning the 2020 election? Absolutely. So I started this show earlier tonight by saying the most important thing that's happening right now is what's happening behind the scenes, not what's happening in the mainstream media, right? So the Skytel servers, there were, right after it happened, and this was the second week of November of 2020, there were congressmen that went on newscasts that said there was a raid in Germany of the Skytel servers, which housed all of the original data from Dominion. So when a vote came in, before that vote was flipped via an algorithm by Dominion, before that vote was flipped, Skytel had a server farm where it's just basically a huge warehouse with all big servers, ceiling to floor, for massive entities such as an election for the United States presidency. So you needed large servers and server farms to house these type of digital forensics, so to speak. Now, all of the data would be sent to those servers, which, by the way, that's a violation of EO 13848 to begin with, the executive order that Trump signed in September of 2018. That itself, having a server farm in another country, is a violation. Let's not go into that yet. But the votes, the original votes that came in for president, before they were altered by Dominion, they came in originally. Something has to come in originally before you could change it. Do we all agree? Like, if you have a haircut that you don't like, before you could change it to something that you do like, it has to be bad in the first place, right? If I'm wearing a red shirt and I no longer want to wear a red shirt, I want to wear a blue one instead, or a pink one, or a purple one, or a yellow one, or a whatever one. It first has to be red in order for me to change it from red to yellow. It has to be red first. Do you agree? Same thing with the votes. In order for the votes to be switched from Trump to Biden, they originally had to be Trump votes. That's what was captured in Skytel. Get it? Dominion used a server farm in Skytel. They were a Barcelona-based company that had a server farm facility in Germany. There was a firefight. Get this, the CIA was defending the server farm from the U.S. Army. So you had the U.S. Army going over there to seize the servers, and the CIA was fighting the Army. You say, well, aren't those two both United States organizations, United States agencies? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gina Haspel has never been heard of since that day, head of the CIA. Shortly after she resigned, they staged a helicopter crash. Not staged, but they gave a false report of a helicopter crash because people were killed that day. So they said it happened in a helicopter crash. Nope. Happened in a gunfight. So the White Hats, and this is something, by the way, that Sidney Powell had commented on around that time as well. She said, well, I know there were servers there, but I don't know who has them. The good guys are the bad. Those were her famous words. We got them. We've had them ever since. That's how we got the ability to execute the presidential emergency action documents that Donald Trump signed, the Stafford Act, continuity of government, law of war, all that stuff was because of that server farm. Now, the Supreme Court overturning the election happened a long time ago. You're talking like early 22, possibly even into 21. All of this evidence was compiled by the White Hats, actually by the United States military, and given to the court. So I reported it, I believe, in July of 21, I think. But it happened well before that. Has the public been aware of it? Have they been told about it yet? No. But they will. In time. All right, next question. I don't know where we're at here. Will Trump's arrest trigger the military takeover? This is from Terrell Susan. Trump's arrest already happened. So if it were going to trigger a military takeover, that would have already occurred. So the answer to that is obviously no. There will be an event. I don't know what the event will be at this time, but there will be an event. It's from 98C again. Within the next year or two, my goal is to go beyond the ice wall and touch the firmament, the literal end of the earth. Is there any evidence that this has been done in the past? First of all, you're never going to make it there. You are only able to travel to certain parts of what they call Antarctica. Okay, now they call Antarctica a continent that's at the bottom of our globe, right down here, right? Yeah, bullshit. Antarctica is the ice wall, which we know. There are only certain parts of that ice wall that you're allowed to travel to unless you have military clearance or agency clearance. So you'll never be able to get to the only part that actually does come in contact with the firmament. You won't be able to go there. That is under heavy, heavy military. It's actually the most military occupied area in all of our known world. So and the reason is they perform tests. They've been doing it for decades on the firmament. You could literally walk up to the firmament and touch it. So that is a great goal to have. I don't know how you're going to accomplish that goal. The testing that they do on the firmament, they call the testing, they refer to it as sky ice, because it looks like ice, right? They'll take out these big tubes. After drilling into the firmament, they'll take it out, and then it regenerates, which is amazing. But it's God's creation, so it shouldn't be too amazing. The big tubes that they have are filled with firmament, sections of firmament, and they perform testing on it to see if it reacts a certain way to whatever. And it's an enormous operation that has been happening, like I said, for decades. Is there any evidence that, the question was, is there any evidence that someone has traveled beyond the firmament, beyond the ice wall, and gotten to the firmament or what have you? Admiral Byrd conducted an operation called Operation Fishbowl in 1958, where he has said he had traveled beyond the ice wall and noticed lands beyond the ice wall, some of which were larger than the United States. So I do believe traveling beyond the ice wall has been done. Nowadays, with the cabal in control of everything, I think you would have a very hard time escaping that without death. Roofing Gale, can you please open the chat? Are you talking about on Telegram? Thank you so much for all you do. Been listening to you 2 years. Always look forward to your eyes. Yeah, at the very end of this live, I will open the chat. I'll open back up for membership again. Promise. Is there any relevance to Trump's endorsement of the Noahide laws? Noahide? I don't know why Trump mentioned that tonight, and to be completely honest, I don't know what the Noahide laws are. So I will look into that for you, though, K-Selm. That is who asked the question, K-Selm. I'll look into that for you for sure. This is from Challenge 9. Will the Bidens receive consequences? Absolutely. You know, just about every Biden in the family is corrupt, including his brother, obviously Hunter, Joe himself. Now, keep in mind, Joe Biden, from the intel that I put forth in the past, which is solid, verified intel, Joe Biden was executed in 2019. So the actual Joe Biden, the previous vice president Joe Biden, that execution happened. He's the guy that you see up there right now is not who we think it is, like I said earlier tonight. So the rest of the family, I believe, is in for major consequences. Absolutely. All right, back to locals for some. Wow, a lot of questions tonight. Was CERN used to stop the EBS? You know, I don't want to lie to you guys, so you really caught me in it. That was one that I shouldn't have read. CERN was used to stop the EBS. Yes. However, its use and CERN itself, which was a black hat, bad guy, cabal controlled technology, is no longer in the control of the black hats. So in doing so, in the stoppage of the EBS via CERN, the black hats relinquished CERN to the white hats, which was the only way that you could have stopped the only way they could have stopped what the white hats had in place, what the Global Alliance had in place to implement the EBS was CERN. That was the only move they had. There were no other moves. They knew that it was possible to stop it with CERN, but because of the way CERN had to be used, it is no longer in their control. Now, the EBS, there is no known technology or unknown technology that could stop it. So, am I on Q? I have Q. I watch Q all the time. If you guys aren't on Q, you definitely should be. I've said this before, that when the EBS does take place, Q will be the only thing that you're going to be able to watch me on for a little while. So if you're not yet on Q, you should do that. I'll put the link in my Telegram channel after tonight's live. My channel on Q is not active, but it is set up. So when the time is right, I'll be there. And you will be too, as long as you're a subscriber to Q. Q. No, not Q like Q. Q as in C-U-E. Q. Q streaming. You know what? I'm going to, wow, even that happened. I'm going to put the link to my, the subscription link. I'm going to put that up right now. Well, as soon as it loads. There it is. So there's a couple different ways that you could join Q. You could join just as a subscriber, or you could join as a enroller. You could actually enroll people into Q. One second. You could enroll people into Q and earn money by doing so. So the first link I put up there was the application to become an enroller. That is now on Telegram. Timestamp 9:36 p.m. Eastern. And the second link that I'm putting up is to just be a subscriber so that you get all the channels and all the benefits. I think it's $59 a month, more channels than you'll get anywhere else, and safe connectivity in case of EBS or otherwise other outages in terms of the internet. Will Q on the boards, I'm assuming you mean, get active prior to the final event? Yeah, I think you're in for some Q drops, so to speak. Pretty soon too, actually. Is Q streaming the reason for the delay of the EBS? No. It has nothing to do with Q streaming being ready or not ready. Q streaming is experiencing a lot of problems in terms of the overload that they're getting, but they've upgraded their servers, so their problems that they were experiencing originally are no longer really problems. Back to Rumble. This is from D-Bay. Does the Supreme Court play a role in overturning the 2020 presidential election? No. I'm sorry, the question was Pennsylvania Supreme Court. No, it does not. Lisa Fox again, last question. Trump was in Asheville, North Carolina last week. No speaking engagement. Area is owned by the Rockefellers and is now part of Fort Bragg. Can you expand on his visit if you are able? You know, like a lot of stuff, Lisa. And you must have, like, I don't know, like if you're really good at just researching things, but that area that he was in, which I am aware of, by the way, it is owned by the Rockefeller. Well, it was owned by the Rockefellers. And the area is actually... let me pick my words here very carefully. It's an important area for several reasons, the Fort Bragg area. And there is a strategic reason why Donald Trump was in that area of North Carolina last week. Unfortunately, Lisa, and I'd love to tell you more, there are things that, keep in mind, you guys aren't the only ones that watch me. The other guys are too. You know, you see some of them in the chat, actually. But the bigger, important guys, not the little trolls in the chat, they watch me too. So I can't, like, there's certain things that I can and can't say. You guys have to understand that. I wish I could tell you more. But I could tell you that you're looking in the right areas. That's for sure. This is Peggy, 4301. I'm retired. Will my state retirement and Social Security be okay? I had to receive them by direct deposit. Yeah, there is no plan to harm any civilians that are hooked up to any sort of retirement plan, whether it's Social Security or otherwise. Those things will not be taken from you if you have them built up. What I was talking about and referencing earlier tonight was the people who willingly have a 401k or an IRA invested in the stock market. Most IRAs and 401ks, the way that they make money or lose money is the stock market. Your state retirement and your Social Security are not in the stock market. So, well, I can't speak for your state retirement. If you are retired and that is in an account that's invested in the stock market, you should go to goldquiz.com. If it's not, and it's something that's, you know, you should find out where they have your money, your retirement. And if you do have the ability to move it to a gold or silver backed or both IRA or 401k, goldquiz.com will help you do that. This is again from 98C, who really wants to go past that ice wall. When you say they don't allow you to go past a certain point past the ice wall, are you stuck in the Matrix mindset? Why would the White Hats not allow travel anywhere in the New World? I see what you're saying now. You didn't specify it that way before. You're talking about in the future, once the White Hats reveal everything to us, that there is a larger world and so forth. In that aspect, of course, you will be able to go to the New World. I thought you meant like now, under the circumstances that we're in right now. Right now, the areas of the ice wall that you could travel to are protected heavily by the military, either the maritime police, or if there's land, the Navy, or, Johanna H 4652. I wanted to say that name out loud because she just said, don't use Goldco, it's a scam. I have actual Goldco attorneys who watch my live streams looking for people like you and statements like that. So they'll get you. Expect a cease and desist. Anyway, once the secrets that they're withholding from us and the information that they're withholding from us is revealed to the public, I do believe that there will be a migration to certain lands beyond that have been occupied before, prior to most recent resets. So, yeah. Is Michelle, this is from D-Bay again, is Michelle Obama on the run? Yeah, the information that I have points to both Obamas attempting to exit the country last week. So, answer is yes, as far as I know. It's from Ms. Jet. Why haven't they taken the fake off your Telegram channels just yet? Truthfully, I don't know. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I really don't care. They could keep that fake on my Telegram channels all they want. Even if they were to take it down, there's probably just going to be another, 500 or 1,000 people that report the channel as fake. So I that doesn't concern me. The channel's not fake. I know it's my channel. You guys know it's my channel. It could say fake or scam all at once. It's me. Right now, let me read you what the tag actually says. Many users reported that this channel impersonates a famous person or organization. I don't impersonate anybody. The name of the channel is my name. So who am I impersonating? The whole concept of putting that tag on there is just senseless. But I have so many other things to focus on for the betterment of my audience. I've launched many companies so far that are very helpful financially to a lot of people. I plan to launch more. And I want to change as many lives as I could. And the last thing on my agenda is a stupid tag on a social media channel. So I impersonate Snowden. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's just crazy. Snowden isn't even a real person. It's crazy. Anyway, moving on. That one. All right, we'll head over to D-Live, take a couple. Is QTV Pro updated? Not sure, to be honest with you, but their Facebook channel and Facebook group answers a lot of questions, much like that one. So I would point you in that direction for that. Oh, by the way, before I forget to mention, those night vision goggles that you guys went bonkers over when I first launched them, tackrightfill.com, they're back. They're back in stock. They're a cheaper price now than they were, and they're only in stock for a limited time. So the link to TackRight is down in my description. Very easy. Tack, T-A-C, right, like your right arm, R-I-G-H-T, Phil, my name, Phil.com, tackrightfill.com. Night vision goggles, great for people that are outdoorsy. You like to camp, you like to hunt. These things are literally nearly military grade. They're phenomenal. Great gift for that hunter. Great gift for the people that like being outside. So TackRight Phil down in the description here. I'll take you to a page specifically for you guys with better pricing. Go there, order them as much as you want. James over here is still asking about marching orders. Your marching orders, in case you missed them tonight, were to share my Rumble link. And I say Rumble because it's free on Rumble. So if you share locals, they won't come to the video. Share my Rumble link with as many social media platforms that you're on. doing a little bit of an experiment that I was asked to do. And we're going to see we're going to see some stuff. So share it. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, put it on all three. You could leave a little comment as to why you're putting it there or whatever. But yeah, let's spread it. That's some marching orders. Speak about Ariel on Twitter. No idea what you're talking about. And if I don't know about it, I would say it's probably not that important. Did Mitch see JFK Jr.? Biden's 10-day vacation lines up with 10 days of darkness? Sure does, doesn't it? It's funny that someone would need to announce how long they're going on vacation for. Couldn't just say he was going somewhere. Why 10 days, you know? It's funny. Isn't it funny? It's funny haha or funny weird? I don't know. There's two different kinds of funnies. Can you see my turtle tat again? No. It's good. Mostly because I don't want to stand up. Weird. Did I see Elvis today? No. Oh, you're talking about Bob Joyce? There's a group of my followers on Telegram that, remember we did that flat fill thing when I didn't go to my own bachelor party earlier this year because I was sick that weekend? The guys that went to my bachelor party made flat fills. So they printed out photos of me and they took them all around on the fishing trip and in the restaurants and the golf course and all those places. A group of my followers thought that was a cute idea, so they made a flat fill group. So what they've been doing for the last several months is taking their flat fill photos. You ever hear of Flat Stanley for the kids? His piece of paper, he goes on trips, take them around the world, whatever. They made flat fills. And of course they did flat, P-H-L-A-T instead of F. And they took flat fill around the world. One of the stops today that they went to, the Telegram group went to, one of the followers was Arkansas. So no, I wasn't in Arkansas, but flat fill was. Pretty cool, actually. Are the White Hats using HARP as cover for military operations? Yes. Probably shouldn't have read that one. Or answered it. Back to Rumble. I'm sorry, we'll go to locals. What do you say to Charlie talking about the QFS monitoring being Palladian? I don't believe that at all. I like Charlie. I think Charlie's good. Charlie has some strong sources for the QFS. I don't believe in Palladians. It's not that I don't believe in them. It's that it's against what God says. I'm against anything that's, contrary to God's beliefs, to God's teachings, to the Bible. Palladians are exactly that. So could Palladians be terrestrials from the land beyond? The lands beyond? Yes, that's possible. And if that's Palladian in what Charlie's talking about, then okay, now we're on a different topic. But the pretext of Palladian means extraterrestrial in some way, shape, or form. And no, I'm not a proponent of that. Why Charlie says the QFS is being moderned by Palladians, I wouldn't. It contradicts everything that I know about QFS and Sarah and so forth. So I'm gonna say I just don't agree with that. Why he's talking about it? Maybe has information that I don't have. Maybe he doesn't have information that I do have. But regardless of that, that's not something that I'm endorsing. Can I open the PG chat? Yes, asked and answered. I will open that at the end of this live. I'm not going to do it right now. Speak to the birth certificate number, please. No, not just yet. Not going to speak to that just yet. In time. There's that in time again. Fed now, significant? Nope. Insignificant. 100% insignificant. I could tell you though, I heard today that Amazon is putting palm print technology into certain stores where you could pay using your palm. Stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Anybody that does that is just a complete idiot. You don't give away your fingerprints or your palm print to Amazon, no less, who has had security breaches in the past. I mean, come on. Dumbest thing I ever heard. Please do not do that if you have the thought of it. So stupid. Was I in space recently? No. There is no space. I don't know what kind of question is that for me. That's nuts. That caused me to go over a Rumble. Jim Bappa again. Will we be using Q phones as a safe, unhackable way to vote in the future? That is one of the ways that has been discussed amongst our side. I don't know if it'll be the only way. Truthfully, I don't even know if it'll be a way. I think there's better technology even than that, believe it or not. But there will be substantial differences and changes in the way we vote, obviously, because the way we vote now, not only within the United States, but worldwide, is just completely bullshit. So Q phones were one way that was being discussed a while ago, and I haven't heard much from it yet, since, that while ago. Is my real name Phil? Yes. It's from Terrell Susan. When will the military publicly take over? Well, that'll be during the EBS. So when that EBS drops, we'll know of it at that time. Lisa Fox again. Shout out to the Phil Hake group who messaged me calling me a dumbass who was being conned. Yet they know the whole synopsis of your live. Buy a dictionary and look up hypocrites for the trolls. Isn't that funny? That's a good point, Lisa. Like, they clearly are watching to the effect that they know what I'm talking about. So who's the dumbass? If they think like the things that I talk about are not true, that's fine. And that's what boggles my mind. Like, I have the right to believe whatever I want to believe. I have the right to say on a camera whatever I want to say, as long as I'm not breaking any laws, as long as I'm not defaming people, and as long as I'm not, harming anyone from a legal point of view. I have the right to say what I want. I have the right to believe what I want. So do you. You have the right to believe me or not believe me. What you don't have the right to do is break laws such as defamation, slander, blah, blah, blah. We all know about that. Harassment and so forth. But you guys can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not here telling you you have to believe that the things that I say are accurate. They may resonate with you. There may be a shred of honesty coming from me or dishonesty. You decide. What drives me nuts is when people try to decide for you. Isn't that what our government is doing right now? Look at what they did with the vaccine. They tried to make it mandatory everywhere, right? So how is someone messaging someone saying, you're being lied to, you shouldn't watch, get away from him? How is it any different than mandating a vaccine or making you wear a mask? So I just think that they relate so much to the cabal that it's very obvious to me that when somebody's trying to influence your discernment, that is a key sign that you should do the opposite of what that person's saying. But again, even with that said, that's up to you. You do the opposite or follow their advice. Totally up to you. But it was a good response, Lisa. Show us your Q phone. It's not with me right now. It's somewhere else. That's all I could say. Just looking for some good ones. We're going to finish up in a little while here. Is Hawaii going to be a separate nation or remain a state? Hawaii has a very, very special purpose. And we'll talk about that at a later time. As far as nation or state, I'm not going to get into that just yet. But we'll talk about Hawaii. There's a reason I bought property there. Who is White House grandpa? I'm not going to comment on that. Hi, Phil. My husband and I are getting a VA home mortgage. Do you think it will go through? There's so many factors when it comes to a mortgage. I can't comment on whether or not it'll go through. I was in real estate for a very long period of time, 17 years, and I had mortgages that I always thought would go through that didn't because of an underwriting error, or the borrower did something wrong, or something. So there's no way I could comment on that. Now, what I think you mean, though, is because of the environment that we're in right now with BRICS and, the dying dollar and the banks collapsing, if the bank that you're getting the mortgage through, even VA loans have to be funded by a central bank. So if the bank that your VA underwriter is using to fund your loan collapses, like the one did earlier today, or like the three big ones did a couple months ago, then I would say no, your mortgage won't go through in that case. But I don't know circumstances, so there's no way I can answer your question accurately. Charging Rhino, did you get the 2020 election chess set that I sent you? There are some things that I haven't opened yet, believe it or not. That sounds really cool, though. So I'm really, really interested in opening that. So I'll probably do that soon. Thank you for that. That's a great gift. This is a funny one. Phil, tell us about your teleportation activities and the good ETs, extraterrestrials, telling you not to talk about them because the religious sleeping masses would ditch you before the EBS. Probably the dumbest thing I've read to date on a Q&A. I just read there. I'm going to read it again just because it's so dumb. Phil, tell us about your teleportation activities and the good ETs telling you not to talk about them because the religious sleeping masses would ditch you before the EBS. Wow. Wow. The only way I could respond to that is this, and take the response however you want, but there are things called psychedelic drugs, and people take them. I'm not going to say who takes them, but I am going to say that I know that they're psychedelic and they cause hallucinations and like all sorts of things in your brain. So I haven't taken any. I've never taken them, but I'm fully aware of them. And yeah, so sometimes some people have good ones, I guess. I don't know. Some people might not have good ones. Maybe that's the thing too. I'm just saying it's the good ETs. What show is this? All the new people that just subscribed to my channel just left because of that. It's okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. The good ETs. Shrooms. Yeah, somebody just said shrooms are nice. Yeah, I guess so. Purple haze. Yeah. Why is my gold and silver IRA down $30,000 since I took it out earlier this year? I can't imagine that that's true because the price of silver and gold has done nothing but stagnate since earlier this year. So that's probably not true. And if it is true, my unprofessional, non-financial advice would be hang in there. Hang in there. Nice thing about that is you still own the gold and silver, right? It didn't just disappear. You still have that, so the value of that could fluctuate. Maybe it is down a little bit right now. For it to be down 30,000, you must have transferred a bunch, so just hang in there. My teeth are glowing, could be. I don't like direct light, especially during live streams like this. So I have like lights that bounce off the walls and stuff, not the one overhead. I never turned that one on, and I never turned the ceiling ones on. But I have like these lamps that are over there that I put on. So they're those industrial bulbs, you know, those old looking bulbs. Here, I'll show you one. See 'em? So, no, great. Now the camera's missed. Should be good. Okay. So the light that they throw off is a little, you know, crazy. Hi Phil, what's up with McAfee? Throw us a bone. Not yet. Not going to throw you any bones on McAfee just yet. Let's wait that one out a little bit. Somebody asked, how is Catherine Telford? You know, Catherine's caretakers, or possibly it could be Catherine herself. I don't speak to Catherine on a regular basis, but she does, or her caretakers message me quite often with updates on how she's doing and what she's thinking, if she wants to tell me anything, which I read often. So I just read an update that came in, I think it was within the last week, on Catherine. She's doing well. She's frail, you know, she's an older lady, but she's doing well. She still has her wits to her. She's still alerting me about certain things that she thinks I should know of. So she's doing good in that regard. Sammy Football just said, how much will silver spike to? No one knows the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. Bix Ware doesn't know the answer to that. Not anyone that you would consider, either self-proclaimed or through your own research, the expert on silver or precious metals, or, you know, anything to do with the rise or fall of pricing on anything, not just gold and silver or the stock market or anything else. No one has a crystal ball. No one's going to look into it and say, hey, you know, this is going to be the price of silver or gold. All you could do is look at what's happened in the past and the historical movement of the price of the metal. In this case, you're asking about silver. You could look at the historical movement and what it has done in comparison to the US dollar over time. You could also then look at other factors that are available to you, such as COMEX, and how has short options and different fraudulent activity affected the price of silver, and why there is the disparity between gold and silver. Gold right now is, you know, fluctuating around 2,000 an ounce, and silver keeps down there about 25 an ounce, 30 an ounce. And, you know, there's no single person, anybody that tells you they know what silver is going to go to or gold, they're lying to you. You could just look at what's happened in the past and the set of circumstances that are in front of you in the future. So no, I'm not going to make a prediction on what it is. I have talked a little bit about some of the fraud and things that I spoke about just now. I've talked about that in lives in the past, but I can't give you, you know, a number. It's not, no one can, not just me. Go back to locals. Why haven't we taken over MSM? Actually, we have. We've taken over MSM. You're still going to see some of the programmed narrative, but if you also notice what has happened over the last 2.5 years and what they are reporting now, that would have never made it onto the MSM in years past, just keep watching. Keep watching. That's going to tick up. Boobies, there he is. I knew he was somewhere. He said booby, so I said booby. It's a funny joke, inside joke. If you don't, I forgot there were a lot of new people here tonight. I didn't just randomly say boobies, I promise. There's a guy here that says it all the time, and usually says it when I'm reading stuff down like quickly, and I just look at it and I'm like, boobies. So like he thinks it's funny. So he's been doing it for 2 years. I think it's funny too. Why is Obama free? He's not. Obama's not free. I said earlier tonight he was trying to flee. I was commenting on the question that was asked about Michelle, and yes, there are reports that Obama and Michelle are fleeing, but truthfully, Obama's been monitored, detained for quite a while. That's nothing new. And we've known that for a while too. What happens to the insurance industry during the reset? the insurance industry will still exist, but it'll be operated and operating in a much different fashion than what we see it operating now. But the people that are in that industry, such as agents and what have you, they'll still have jobs to do. I'm assuming that's what you're asking. I'm not going to answer the Princess Diana question. That was a good way to phrase it, though. Facebook is still active censoring? Yeah, they are. Share the link of my live anyway. Maybe they'll take it down. I don't think so, but let's see. Is XRP connected to QFS? Yes, in a way. We've talked about that in the past. Was Flynn denied access to Mar-a-Lago? No. I don't know where that report came from, but that's not true. I specifically asked about that when I heard that. I don't know where I first heard it. It might have been Telegram, actually. Real Raw News reported it. That's not wrong. That's not true. I told you, Real Raw News has a good source, but I also told you where they have that good source, and that's the Pentagon. Now, when you get outside of that source, there's other reporters at Real Raw News that have other sources that dive into other things, right? When it gets outside the Pentagon, I don't pay too much attention to them because I know their source and I know it's a good one, but I don't know who the other people's sources are. I asked specifically about the Mar-a-Lago thing with Flynn, and the answer was absolutely not, and it was actually comical. So, all right, last question for the night. Who's got it? Is there such a thing as tech or extraterrestrials from extraterrestrials being used by our government or in the alliance? Depends on what you refer to as extraterrestrials. If you're talking about outer space beings, little guys that come in and they're going to think about the world. No. But if you're talking about tech that is foreign to our lands and to our race that we are right now, there's a lot of tech that was discovered after the last Great Reset. So in that sense, yeah, there is tech in that particular sense, but not the way that I think you're asking. Now, secondly, all these whistleblowers coming out, and this is where I think where all this extraterrestrial talk is coming from tonight. All of these whistleblowers coming out recently talking about, how the investigation was, diluted until Hunter Biden, how we're talking about the Trump setup with Russiagate and all that stuff. Lots of whistleblowers and testifying in front of Congress, right? You got Durham going in front of Congress telling about, so all this stuff. And then randomly, of course, there was a certain whistleblower that talked about aliens and that we have technology from aliens and something else, right? Doesn't that seem suspicious, the timing to you? Like all these actual whistleblowers are coming out telling you all these actual things that are happening. And then there's this one whistleblower that wants to talk about aliens. It's just the black hat. That's the moves that the black hats have been reduced to now, right? Before they used to take down towers in New York City. Now they put a fake whistleblower in front of Congress just to distract your mind because they want you to think aliens are real. Because if aliens are real, extraterrestrials from outer space, if they're real, God's not real. Right? So it's just another one of those setups, just another one of those plants. It's just to distract your mind. They don't want you to know the truth. That's why Lisa Fox is getting messages tonight. Because they don't want you to know the truth. They hate when I do lives like this and cover all these different topics. Because they don't want you to know. They want to control your discernment. And that's why the whistleblower regarding the aliens was testifying in front of Congress. It's bizarre. They don't want you to know about the actual whistleblowers. They want you to know about the bullshit whistleblowers. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome to the new audience. You could go to philgodlewski.locals.com. That will get you, You could subscribe for $15 a month, but you could get a current discount, $120 for the entire year, big discount. For a limited time only, you do not have to subscribe to any of my stuff at all and pay any money. My content is and always will be, always has been, and always will be free. You could watch on DLive or Rumble, the majority of the new ones that are coming on now, most likely Rumble. You could subscribe to Rumble for absolutely nothing. It will just alert you when my videos are coming up. Some of the other places like Locals have some perks like we talked about. Within the next couple of days, we're going to be doing a giveaway on Locals of more silver. I'm going to give out more silver eagles. So if you want to get on Locals and you want to be part of all that stuff, you can. If you just want to subscribe to this channel and watch, you can. Please give Matt Farris a download if you could afford the 99 cents for his pre-order of his song. Him and his family could use that, and they could use the uptick in pre-order sales to churn out more songs. I know the one that Matt wrote and played for me and Carrie at our wedding, that will be available too, and that is an amazing song that I think is going to go extremely viral. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. It's just actually a good song. It's better than the things that you hear on the radio. And I listen to country all the time. So I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I am planning a live probably early in the week. I doubt tomorrow and I doubt Monday. Tuesday's looking like a good day for a live. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for tuning in. Love you all. Welcome to the new people. And I'll see you.